ever encountered a difficult person? Have you ever had a difficult person in your Go group? Have you ever had a difficult person in your office that you're trying to deal with? Well, Paul teaches young Timothy that in church there are difficult people. And remember, Paul is writing to Timothy, the pastor of the church of Ephesus. And he writes to him in chapter 2, beginning with verse 23. Again, I say, don't get involved in foolish, ignorant arguments that only start fights. A servant of the Lord must not quarrel, but must be kind to everyone. Be able to teach. Be patient with difficult people. Gently instruct those who oppose the truth. Perhaps God will change these people's hearts, and they will learn the truth. Then they will come to their senses and escape the devil's trap, for they have been held captive by him, by Satan, to do his will. Now, Paul just gave Timothy maybe some of the greatest counsel an older pastor could give a young pastor. And the guidance is very simple. Don't get involved in foolish arguments. Don't get involved with everybody who wants to have a big fuss. There are people that want to fight about tithing. Don't get involved in their fusses. I mean, you teach them the truth, and if they want to reject it, that's up to them. Don't get in a fight with people about the Trinity. Don't get in a fight with people about the rapture. At some point, you have to realize these are foolish and ignorant arguments. Now, notice that term, ignorant arguments. Arguments that are not based on knowledge. Arguments that are based in ignorance. Paul said, Timothy, don't get involved in the middle of these things. Secondly, he said, be patient with difficult people. Now, look at that. He said, be patient with difficult people. There are difficult people in church. I'm sorry, there are. And you have to learn patience with difficult people. Now, there are people in church that are the most wonderful. You just sit back and go, how did I ever get to pastor such wonderful people? And then there are people in church that are just, oh, Jesus, help me. And Paul said, Timothy, be patient with the difficult people. Then thirdly, he says, gently instruct those who oppose you. Did you know that there are people that oppose just about everything I teach? I mean, I can lay out the scriptures as best as I can, and there are people that oppose it. They don't like it when you teach that there's only two sexes. They don't like it that you teach tithing. They don't like, there's things they don't want to believe because they have their own personal opinions, and they don't want to conform their opinions to the Word of God. And so they oppose what you teach. And he said, Timothy, with these people, just continue to gently teach them. Just keep teaching them. Just keep gently instructing them. Don't raise your voice. Don't get frustrated with them. Just keep teaching them. Now, I know it's easy to get frustrated, but he said, gently keep teaching them. And he said, here's the reason. Perhaps God will change these people's hearts. Now, the reason we are to be gentle and we shouldn't get in a fight with people about it, and the reason we should be patient is because we can't change their hearts. I don't care how smart you are. You can't change people's minds once they've determined something. I can pretty well out-argue anybody about doctrines. I mean, I've been studying the Bible since I was 18 years old. But you know what? There are some people that no matter how carefully you lay out the scriptures, they've made up their mind. They're not going to believe it. Their minds are deceived. Their hearts are the problem. There's something in their heart that for some reason doesn't want to accept God's truth. Now, you can't change their mind. Only God can. Perhaps God will change these people's hearts. And when their hearts are changed, and they will learn the truth. Stingy people don't want to learn about tithing. The problem is not their intellect. The problem is their heart. Because they're stingy, because they're corrupt, because they love money, they don't believe in tithing. Well, you know what? You're not going to be able to teach them truth until their heart is changed. There are other people that no matter what you teach about healing, they're never going to believe in healing because in their heart, they don't believe in miracles today. The problem is not their heads, the problem is the heart. And beloved, only God can change the hearts. And when God changes the heart, then it says, and they will learn the truth. Now you have to recognize these people will then come to their senses. And the reason they have to come to their senses is because they're in the devil's trap right now, taken captive to do his will. The problem is the heart. Only God can change the heart. So never try to out-argue people. Let God change their hearts.